Hi there. I wanted to do a video today on how to diagnose and repair a hot refrigerator on the face of it. And I'll explain here in a second. This is a Subzero model 600. It's actually a 642, but this would work for any of the Subzero lines because they're all pretty much the same, or at least the same basic design as all refrigerators are. But I'll explain here. A couple of weeks ago, I noticed that up here on the top, all along in here, it got really, really hot. And then even on the inside, you would open the door, and the frame would be really warm and hot to the touch. And it was getting rather worrisome. And so what I found here is what I'm going to explain. So this is just an explanation, and now we will go to the disassembly part. Okay, so grab a hold of the top of the front lever here, which is concealing the compressors and everything, and pull back on it. And you'll notice there are two springs on either side here that are actually holding this thing in place. So all you have to do is reach in here and remove these springs gently, pull them back, and then gently release them. Otherwise, they'll go flying into the back. And you got to do that for both sides. And then you can remove that whole piece. Okay, so now I have removed the front louver that's on the top here, and this is actually a really good design by Subzero, by putting the compressors up on the top, because that's where all the heat is. Most standard refrigerators actually have them at the bottom, so the heat is actually rising. This one, the heat's all right at the top, which keeps the inside cooler. So anyway, you can remove this panel here. There's actually two screws at the bottom. I already took those out. I can show you these insides really quickly here as to why the refrigerator was so hot on the top and on the door and on the door frame. Over here you have compressor number 1, which is for your freezer. Compressor number 2, which is for your refrigerator. This is your condensation fan. This is your condensation coil. And you'll notice on the back of this, now I clean mine regularly, about every 6 months to a year. You have to clean the dust and the dirt off of these. And when you do it, you should use a brush like this to clean the thins, because these are very, very, very delicate and bend very, very easy. So you have to be very, very careful with this. The fan actually draws air in, not out. And that way the breeze, if you will, from the fan is actually helping to cool the compressors. But what would happen is that the fan had actually become intermittent. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. I caught it one day when the freezer compressor was running, fan was not. Came over here and gave the fan a little spin, and it started running. And it's like, okay, I got an intermittent fan. After 17 years, it's finally become unreliable. But yeah, the compressors were just running and running and running and running and running, transferring all that heat to the top frame here, which then goes right down the door frame, and why it was so hot. So there are 3 screws here on the back of this fan that have to be removed. One of them has a ground wire that you'll notice here. And you take those 3 off, and then the whole assembly will just pop right out. Okay, so before we go and disconnect the fan, open up your refrigerator and go to the unit off button and turn your power off, so that your refrigerator's dead, so you don't accidentally shock yourself or anything, or it actually come on. Now we're going to come up here, and I'm going to use I have a 1/4 inch mini socket set, and I'm going to use that to take these 3 screws out. Okay, I have now removed the screws from the fan, and now I'm going to come down here. The connector for it is right here, right up front, and all I got to do is just pinch it in and pull it out. And now I can pull the entire fan assembly out. This is my new replacement fan motor, and this is an OEM from Subzero, and that's the part number for this particular refrigerator. And here's the motor. This particular motor apparently can be used on several different versions of Subzero because it comes with the different connectors. Mine is this one, but yours might be that one. The lugs are already attached to the wire, so all you have to do is just pick the plug and stick them in there, and away you go. This particular motor, I have seen these online for upwards of about $250. I bought this off of eBay for $90 out the door, free shipping. I have seen, and this is an OEM. I have seen Chinese knockoffs of these selling for $30 on eBay, which probably would work just as well. You just might not get all the extras that Subzero sends you. So something to take into consideration if you do this. And here we have the fan out, and what I need to do now is to take this nut off, and all you just need is a good pair of pliers to get on here and give it a spin, and the whole thing will just pop right off. And then we're just going to move it over to the new motor, to which I have already put the connector on. Read the instructions. They're very explicit about the neutral and the hot as to which is which. I've already labeled it here. You can tell pretty easily. It shows it here in the instructions, and there's a little tab on the side that says number 1 on this. And I have marked that. The little tab is right there, so that you know that, to make sure that you wire it up correctly. Okay, now let's go change the fan. Okay, here's the old motor. There's the new motor. The fan blade has been already moved over. One thing I did leave on when I took this out was this one bracket, so I only actually took the 2 screws out here. And this one I was able to just pop out of the little grommet that it actually fits into. On the back end of the condenser. You can do the same thing. And now let's go put it back in. Okay, so we have now reinstalled the fan assembly with the brand new motor. The one thing I would tell you is that getting this assembly back in place was a little bit more fiddly than I thought it would be. But the one thing I will tell you is that on this side, this strut, if you will, the brace, whatever you're going to call it, that actually holds this end of the fan up, you can't see it, but back here in the corner is the grommet that this fits into, and you can actually install the grommet first, and then there's actually a slot into the frame on the back end of the condenser fan, so you can actually push it in and then push the fan over so it's connected. So you actually have one strut then connected to all of this, so that then when you go to reattach the 2 screws here on the back for these other 2 braces, just makes it a little easier. But you will need a 1/4 inch ratchet to get these screws in place, and because it's just so tight in here. And don't forget the ground that connects onto one end of it. But otherwise, then all you got to do is come down here and turn the unit. Yeah, there it is. Back. Okay, and so now we come up here and set the gun. The fan is now running. Got a good breeze. In fact, I would say that fan is running at twice the speed as the old one was. I mean, because the breeze coming up is really great. So we're done.